Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. This is week 7 in the Rise of Obticeo. I started this account January 1st, used the Hyperdrive bundle, and I'll do weekly account updates to help you understand how I'm building the account, what I'm doing with characters. And you can follow along. It's a good way to learn if you want to rise quickly in the new Grand Arena system. With that in mind, we have an awful lot of stuff to cover. Got a lot of footage for you guys this week on how the account plays, some things that may be good advice for some situations in the game that may give you problems. So let's get in there. Let's take a look at what we're building and then look how we're doing with the playthrough on the account. With the off timing on the Grand Arena system, there was this midweek lock-in, and we did want to get Relic on Vader this week, week 7. That was our target. And we did have him in position to be relicked before the Grand Arena lock-in, so we went ahead and did this work midweek. And we're going to get him up to Relic 5, not without a little bit of a challenge. So I was doing this on the day of the lock-in, and I hadn't done my refreshes for the day yet or farmed any materials. So you see, we're going to try to take him to Relic 5, but we're a bit short on signal data, but that's okay. We have our daily refreshes. So we're still on the 100 cost refreshes for the Cantina. Don't mind to do those at all. We're going to farm up a little signal data. Here we get to 28 out of 25. Close out the deal on that signal data. We go to this final piece of signal data that we need. Do a refresh on that, get to 17. That'll give us enough materials to take all the way to Relic 5. I'll take him to 7 someday, but this early in the game, it is difficult to get the Relic 6 and Relic 7 materials. So we'll work on that someday, not right at the moment. With Vader hitting Relic level, we do want to pay attention to his mods. So we're going to look through and see if there's any better quality mods. We've already put some of our better mods onto Vader, and we're going to try to improve the quality of these mods and get his speed up. Again, getting him faster in Grand Arena is the first goal. And here we slice this mod and we get it to 18 speed. Then we miss, we get defense. But we do have some 6-dot slicing materials. So we take this mod to 6 dots. It's good enough to hit with these slicing materials to see what we get. And we get super lucky and hit speed. The first 6-dot slice on the entire account hits speed, and we get a 23 speed mod. I call it a finished mod now that it has all 5 rolls in a speed substat. You can't get any more rolls, so that mod is done. The other substats aren't worth working on, and we'll have other mods that we'll be trying to get speed on, so that mod's done. We get him up to 258 speed, and then in the end we have to slow him back down. We just don't have a whole lot of potency crosses, and the potency cross that we put on just has a really poor quality speed substats. It's the best we can do with what we've got. We're also going to take this triangle to 6 dots. That'll give it a boost for the critical damage output, and that gives Vader a pretty good punch. We also took Piet up a little bit through these initial gear levels. And then we were hoping to maybe level him up and get him going, but there's going to be a whole lot of work there, and the credits get low real fast. So we put a little bit of work into Piet and leave him there for more work later. The Home 1 capital ship we're still working on. And Akbar, we really need to commit to Akbar. I messed around with the Endurance as my main capital ship for a little while. I built up Mace a little bit. But Home 1 is really a far better capital ship to run the Geos under early on. Tarkin is probably the best, but I am trying something a little different with this account. So the best thing to run with Geos is Tarkin. But for right now, we're running a different kind of team. So we are trying to get Home 1 up and running. Put a few more gear tiers onto Admiral Akbar. It's not a bad deal. We'll be able to make use of this capital ship for a long time to come. If we're going to commit to him, then we need to go ahead and get mods on him and get him up to level 15. So 5-dot mods, level 15, and that boosts up the speed on our capital ship a little bit. Next, we're going to take a look at Fleet. I did get past all of the normal nodes in 5. We got to the first node in 5 hard, which is Shaak T. This node has a bunch of Galactic Republic under the Endurance, and it's pretty annoying because there's just tons and tons of recovery within this fleet. So I'm going to show you guys how it is that I beat this. Here we take out Rex within the first opening turn. He gets a reinforcement, so now it's 3 on 3. We're still working on this 5s. We take some shots at that. Working on Plo here. We got to get in a reinforcement. We're going to try to bring in Ahsoka. Take as many buffs off of as many different ships as we can. Take the buffs off of them. Getting rid of that Valor is going to help get the enemy capital ship slowed down a little bit. So we lose our TIE Silencer, though. Once that happens, the battle isn't looking too good. We get Biggs healed back up again. We pop a target lock to get his taunt back on, protect our other ships. But we're a little bit behind here, and the silencer is gone, and we're not making good headway. So call it bad RNG, call it, just not enough damage, whatever you want to say, but this run is not going so well for us. We're going to play it out. We may not get 3 stars, but we'll see if at least we can finish it off, have success, and get the Shaak T shards for the day. But in the end, he's got too many reinforcements. It's not going our way. I come in a second time. It goes even worse. They just trade around the taunts and dominate me. And come in a third time. Same story again. We're working on them, and they just get too far ahead. So this is the 4th run of me trying to make a video of how to do this. And we'll take you through this 4th run. Same thing. We're going to go after Rex here. We're going to put the target lock on to give Biggs taunt. And then we're just going to focus down, try to get as much damage as we can on this Rex. And here we get him down to a sliver of life. Not quite enough to get him killed, but he's close. And, of course, like I said, this fleet has a lot of ways to put things in your way and recover. But we still managed to strip off the buffs and get rid of him. Now they're going to target the silencer. And, again, this is good RNG. They leave him at a sliver of life. And now they've done a bunch of little instances of damage to him, and his damage is ramped up. Here we can heal him with Home 1. They bring in another reinforcement. But now we're at 4 on 2, so even though the silencer is a bit beat up at the moment, we still got enough power to get through this. Now, we're not even going to lose a ship, right? So this is going to be our 3-star run. And you can see on some of these nodes, you may not get the RNG that you need the first, second, or third time that you run it. But, in this case, 4th time's a charm. And we're going to be able to lock this Shaak T node in with 3-star completion. And that's going to allow us to farm this node every day. Shaak T for the clones is one of the early teams that we do plan to build on this account. So we've got that node unlocked, and we can start working on the Shaak T already and farming her off of that 5A hard node. Haven't been able to get 5B completed yet. We'll keep working on our fleet, and we'll work on that one again here a little bit in the future. So we farm up some Shaak T shards, and now we have Shaak T. And we can start her on the journey for these clones. So we're going to level her up. We've got some money in the bank. We know that we're going to invest in her, so we'll take her all the way to level 85. We'll boost her skill levels up. Of course, we don't have Zetas to put on her yet or anything like that. But we'll position her for more work in the future. We'll put on mods that are decent, not fantastic mods, but, 7 weeks in, we don't have all that many fantastic mods. But we'll try to get at least some decent mods on her that can hold up as we start building this clone team. Got her up to 238 speed. By my standards, that's really pretty poor. But a lot of people don't pay attention to speed in the early game, and a 238 Shaak T will outrun a lot of things. Geo Spy gets a 7th star. He's the next relic target for us since Vader is completed, so we're putting the gear on him every time we can. And then let's see, what else can we do here? We're working on a trooper team. We're working a little bit on our Imperial team. We get an upgrade there to Palpatine. Then we're taking a look at this trooper team for Iden Versio. We might do something with Iden instead of doing the trooper team with Piet and Gideon and all them first. So we're just taking a look at this. We'll put some gear and skills on Magma Trooper. And we'll just try to get this Iden team over the next couple weeks. We'll work on her. We'll work on some of the troopers. We'll maybe get some mods on them, you know. Everything needs mods right now. And, you know, 7 weeks in, we just don't have mods enough for everybody. But we'll start working on that team. I feel like even without the Omicron, she could be pretty good with a trooper team early on. We'll see how all that looks. All right, Geo Darkside territory battle has started up, and our Geos are on the border of being decent, but we're still not we're not where we need to be for the Geo TB yet. So we've got Gear 11 on the Soldier. We've got only Gear 8 on the Sunfac. We've got Geo Spy at Gear 10. We've got the Brute Alpha at 9. And we've got Poggle at Gear 11. Now, the problem with the Geo team that I have right now, there's just not enough protection and health as a pool among all the Geos. So even though, you know, the Geo mechanics will still work and we'll still be able to do, I think, okay. The problem is if we get hit, it falls apart pretty quickly. So here we go in, and we're going to work our way around here, and we're going to put ability blocks onto characters that have area effect attacks. We're going to try to keep them ability blocked the whole time so that they can't attack the Geos and get an area effect skill that's going to do a lot of damage to all of our characters at once. The medic needs to go first if we can, because he'll bring people back to life if we don't do it that way. Get the ability block back on the Jedi Guardian. Then we work a little bit on the Clone Captain. We get the medic out of here for good. Then the Guardian goes down for good. And now we'll just try to make sure that we keep these guys ability blocked to reduce damage. Working our way through the first zone here. Things are going pretty well. Execute him with the Spy. Again, just get the ability blocks on these guys. Move it around. And then, you know, pick a target and kill it once everybody's got ability block. Then we'll do the same thing when we get to round 2. Now, here I had the opportunity to heal, and I passed up the opportunity, and I really should have taken that opportunity to heal up the protection on my Geos. My Brute's okay. Now we're making sure we know which guys have the area effects. So we get the ability block onto her right away. Then we'll clear the buffs off of him. She doesn't have any turn meter right now, so we can afford to take a turn to go over there and hit medic a little bit. Now we miss the ability block 2 times in a row. Now we do the heal. A couple turns later than we could have, but we do restore what protection we can to keep these guys running. And we're just going to take this Guardian down. We can't get to the medic. He's in stealth. Of course, we wish to take him out as our first target if we can. But since we can't see him, there's not much we can do. Just work our way through her. Now we've got the medic out in the open. Try to get back around to him, but he brings her back to life before we get over there. That's okay. We've got some Geo power here. We can take her down. So here we'll go ahead and execute the leader, and then we'll get back around to her. Ability block the medic, ability block the consular, and then kill off the Jedi Knight Guardian here. So we're kind of taking our time, but we knew she didn't have turn meter, so she wasn't about to take a turn. Allowed us to attack some other things first. All right, so working our way through this. Like clockwork with these Geos. All right, now we got Clone Sergeant, who has an area effect. Yeah, he has an area effect on his middle skill. But you can see there, just with 2 hits, they took out my Brute. Almost took him out in 1 hit right there. So that's what I was talking about with the pool of health and protection among all my characters. Just isn't enough. So as soon as I saw that, I knew that we were in trouble on wave 3 here, just because of the amount of damage they're putting out. Even though I have them ability blocked and they're just doing basics, those basics are doing a ton of damage. And here you see that my Geos are dying quite quickly. We're trying to get around to all these guys and keep the ability block on. Going to try to take out this sharpshooter. It's going crazy on us. So we got him down. Now we're going to go after the clone sergeant. Now we lose one of our Geos, and the Jedi Knight Guardian gets an area effect attack off, and that's it. It goes down very quickly from there, and the Geos are out. 2 waves cleared. I think we were at 76,000 galactic power with our team at that point, so it's not... I thought I would be able to clear 3 waves, but yeah, we got out of control there, and once they got off that area effect, then we were done. Here's our Vader team. We've got a Relic Vader. We've got a Relic Kylo Ren unmasked. We can't bring in our Emperor Palpatine as the lead. We would certainly love to do that, but he's 5 stars right now. And I think these early missions, you can come in at 6 stars. The later missions, you have to be 7 stars. But anyway, Palpatine, just not big enough to join the team for this. The TIE Fighter pilot is 6 stars. He's really in poor shape. You can see from his health and protection that pretty much everything but Kylo Ren unmasked and Vader are low level and going to die. But just these 2 characters at Relic is going to be enough to carry us. So you see we're on wave 2. Vader keeps doing Merciless Massacre, getting a bunch of turns, doing what he does. Take an extra turn here. And now with only 3 characters left, it's a debate whether to do Merciless Massacre or not. One of them is under stealth, but we do want to try to get on to the next battle. So got to make sure we clear a second wave here. Medic is under stealth. He brings back one of the guys that we already killed. Throw a lightsaber at him. We're in good shape now. We don't need anything more fancy. Just finish these guys out with basics, work on our cooldowns, go into wave number 3. And again, Vader's just working his way toward a Merciless Massacre. That's pretty much how we're going to, however far we get is going to be based on how much stuff Vader can get done with Merciless Massacre. So here he goes into Merciless. We're going to take a basic on each one of these guys. Doing pretty well. Do another Force Crush. Get back around to Vader. And we'll be able to do a culling on one of these guys. Target him. Cull him out. Get an extra turn. It's less about killing the character, and it's more about, you know, taking that free turn and working your way again another step closer to another Merciless Massacre turn. And you can see already these guys are doing enough damage to put a dent in my Kylo Ren unmasked. So eventually, if you get Kylo tanky enough in these first phases, he pretty much just soaks everything, and it's kind of funny how tanky he is. But you know, here at this level, with mediocre mods and Relic 5, they're already hitting hard enough to work on him. So we take down wave 3. The jump in power from wave 3 to wave 4 is pretty significant, even at these lower levels. So once we get here to wave 4, probably not much of a chance that we're going to get it, but we're going to try. Merciless Massacre. Now, if we do a basic attack on each one of these guys, that'll leave us 2 turns away from another Merciless Massacre. We can do a Force Crush. And then if in some way on his next turn Vader could actually do a Culling Blade, we could go into another Merciless Massacre and have a chance. But with the ability blocks on him, all he can do is basics, and that's it. But a 3-wave clear, it's okay. That's all I have. I only have that many characters that can participate. I literally don't have any more characters at 6 stars that I could even put in to try. So that's going to be the end of the efforts in in that first phase of Geo TB. So yeah, interesting. And if anybody can learn something from that, you know, Mara Jade is fantastic with the Empire team, but doesn't really come into territory battles early because you can't farm her up to enough stars. But just Emperor Palpatine, if you can get him to 6 or 7 stars, get Vader, Relict. A 7-star Palpatine and a Relict Vader are already enough to get some pretty good scores. And as you can see, probably 3 waves without too much trouble early on like that. In the second and third phases, you know, maybe 2 waves. In the last phase, maybe 2 waves. But yeah, it's a way to get started. It's points on the board. Stats for week 7. 1.24 million galactic power. We added on another 60,000 over the week. Second relic is in the account. We still just got 3 Zetas. Squad Arena, we're doing that mixed team, and we're top 50. In Fleet Arena, we got this home 1 with the Silencer 5 and Biggs. There's enough good guys that have kept working on their fleets that I'm not getting top 5 every day anymore. And there's going to be a gap as I build the Geos up. I'll probably get pushed out for a little while until I get my Geos in fighting shape. And then we should be able to get back to top 5. And certainly if we get the Malevolence, then we'll be able to compete for top 5 for a long time. That's the plan. We're building the Vulture Droid and the Hyena Bomber in the background to get prepared for that ship to come along someday. The weekly energy plan is the same as it was the prior week. The shop plan, exact same as it was the prior week. Just keep doing the same things. Talk a little bit about the macro strategy for this account. If you see the teams that I'm building and you wonder, you know, why is it that he's building what he's building? Like, you know, to some people, maybe it seems like it's all over the place. But in terms of stabilizing an account and then picking a project, that's what I always talk about. If you watch the beginner guides on my channel, I've got 4 paths for the beginner guides. The starter guide is really about stabilizing your account, and then when you pick one of the 4 paths, that's the first big project that you work on. And I believe that that's the best way to build an early game account. That's what I'm still doing on this account. It's not directly following one of the plans. Most closely, it will be following a Senator type of build, but yeah, I believe that's the way to do it, so that's the way I'm building this account. Single relic teams are a great way to stabilize and provide a base. You do need to still focus on the teams around them, and even if you don't put high gear on them, just like we saw in the Geo TB, we really need to get that Emperor Palpatine to 7 stars so that he can come along as a support character. We may not gear him that high, but we certainly need him to be 7 stars to get invited into where we want to go. Assault battles are critical. Completing tier 1 on as many assault battles as you can is a very good strategy for early game income. And the finisher pieces, if you look at a character that is at gear 12 and you're trying to get him to gear 13, the piece that's all the way to the right in the lower corner, that's the finisher piece. And there's always like a handle of some kind, an ionic injector or whatever they're called. And those come from the tier 1 assault battles. So getting completion on that gets you those materials, and then you have to farm very few and far between. It seems like those come in just right at the rate that I'm relicking characters. So it's important to get a few of those, at least a couple of those battles to the tier 1 completion, challenge tier 1 if you can. Where possible, try to overlap the relics as pilots to help fleet progress, and remember that we need 2 fleets for Grand Arena. So building just 1 fleet isn't the whole story. You do need to try to at least have some kind of fleet both for offense and defense. So if we take a look at the account that I'm building right now, we're building these single relic teams to stabilize. Relic Kylo Ren on Mass with First Order, a Relic Vader with Empire, and we still have to build up more Empire to 7 stars. We put Moff Tarkin at 7 stars, for example. We'll get some Rebels to 7 stars to get us Palpatine, and we'll keep chipping away at that. Geos with a relic spy will be another single relic team. Shaak T with the clones, and then we'll relic 5s. So if we look back through this list, I'm building the ship for 5s. The Umbran Starfighter is one of the ships that I'm working on right away in the game, and it'll be a relic ship. Spy, we're building up the Geos. We'll have the Geo fleet as our main fleet here soon, and the relic spy will be a pilot. He'll help with the fleet. Vader is technically a pilot. I'm not a huge fan of his ship. I'm not building it early in this account, but certainly he is a pilot, and you could be using his ship as well. And then Kylo Ren Unmasked, of course, pilots the TIE Silencer. So with all of these single relic teams, the character that I'm relicking is used as a pilot in fleets, or in Vader's case, at least it could be, if you want it to be. And in that way, you can build these teams to stabilize. They'll help you in Grand Arena. They'll let you do things elsewhere in the game, in whether it's Conquest or Galactic Challenges or whatever. Once you've started stabilizing your account with a few teams like that, then I always say you need to start working on your first real team. And in the case of this account, unless something changes, the first team that I plan to build a full relic team on will be Shaak T and the clones. And in order to pick your first team, it is really best to already know what your journey is going to be, what you're working on, and then to have that first big team be a part of the journey. So if you pick Galactic Legend as your journey, for example, if you pick Sith Eternal Emperor, then the troopers are, 3 of the troopers are a requirement for him. So it makes a lot of sense to build a full Relic Imperial Troopers team. If you're going for SLKR, you would build a full Relic First Order team. If you're building Rey, you would build a Jedi Training Rey team with Resistance characters. So these GLs, and let's say you wanted to go for Lord Vader first for some reason, which is quite a challenge, but some people are doing it. In that case, you would use clones or Bad Batch. You pick something out of the journey that you're doing. Another journey that you could pick is 2 Revans into Malak. That is a very PvP-oriented target. It's very effective in Grand Arena early on. You can get in there and beat a lot of teams with both Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan. And then you would make the Darth Revan side of that, to my opinion, you would make that your first full relic team. If you build gas, which the intent on this account is to go toward gas, so then building a clones team or a Padme team makes a lot of sense. And in this case, I've picked the clones team first. The clones aren't required as part of the journey, but of course, once you get gas built, you want the clones anyway. So it makes a lot of sense to me to go ahead and build up those Shaak T clones first. And then the whole time I'm on the gas journey, I can take advantage of that team in all the different game modes, in Squad Arena, in Conquest, in everywhere in the game that I can play that team. If you're building the Executor, of course, you'll need to build bounty hunters. Vader's in there, TIE pilots, some things like that, but basically the Executor would give you a focus on a bounty hunter team as your first full relic team. Projects like Commander Luke Skywalker and Beskar Armor Mando, I think that's obvious. If you're doing CLS, you build a CLS team. If you're doing BAM, then you're going to build a Beskar Armor Mando team. So that's a little bit the thought process and how it works. So the first thing you want to do, you want to build teams to stabilize your account. Think about, putting some relics in those teams to make them effective and functional in Grand Arena. And then you pick your big project that you're going to work on, and from that big project, you decide what your first full relic team is going to look like, and then you work on that and, start doing really well in the different game modes that you can do. For example, Conquest, let's just use that as an example. If you don't have a team like that, you're not going to be able to go from easy to normal very well. Normal is really a big jump from easy. So once you get to normal, if you don't have a Galactic Legend, you really need a high relic team that can take you through and get you 3-star completions on the nodes for most of the event. CLS is a great team to do that. The clones can do it. Empire under Vader can do a lot of work in Conquest. So there's a lot of different things A lot of different opportunities for you there. But that's the reason why you need to focus a high relic team up front, is because otherwise those game modes are still somewhere in your future. So bring them to you as soon as you can. That's going to wrap up the video for this week. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Remember to hit that like button if you haven't done that already. Subscribe to the channel to watch more videos like this in the future. Join us over on Discord. The link to my Discord is in the description of the Holocron down below. Come check us out. I hope to see you over there in that community. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next Holocron.